We're back live once again on NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey, Stone Shields, behind the scenes for today's show. We're running you through all the latest around the NFL as we kind of get closer to a bit of a lull period. There's some good teams and stuff, rookie minicamps underway / about to get underway for all 32 NFL teams. Then we get OTAs, some minicamp in June, and then it's kind of a dead period. But we'll still have videos for you on the NFL. And who knows how many more of these we will do. It's May. Aaron Rodgers has not signed with the Steelers or announced any formal decision, which is super weird as far as I'm concerned. So will the Steelers sign Aaron Rodgers? Y for yes, N for no. This is the pinned poll on today's stream. It is almost a 50-50 split. I'm curious how that ebbs and flows as more audience comes in and votes there. If you had told me he'd be unsigned in May, I would have said, oh, so he announced his retirement. And then he would have said, no, he hasn't yet. And I've been like, what? It doesn't make sense. It's also Rodgers, so nothing ever makes sense there. Will the Steelers end up signing him? Y for yes, N for no. Get those predictions in the comments and vote in the pinned poll of today's show. Fig says yes. Derek says no. Timon the Buckeye, happy to have you there, Timon, says no. I think my answer is yes, but I am lying to you if I said I was confident in it. Like, how can you be? It's. There's still a non-zero chance. He's hoping that J.J. McCarthy's bad and gets to go to Minnesota after all. Like, it's a weird situation. And if you're Pittsburgh, you have to kind of be nervous. And, like, there does come a point in Pittsburgh where if there's no yes or no, nothing signed from Rodgers, you have to go pursue something else. Because as we'll get into, that quarterback room sucks. I am sorry. It is bad. It is the worst right now in the NFL. It's not saying that much, but still. So get your votes in. Y for yes, N for no. We will also discuss the Jalen Ramsey situation. Who ends up trading for Ramsey, if that does still happen? Some of the benefits Miami would have gotten draft pick-wise are now gone because they don't get a player to draft with right now. They can't, spend that day 2 pick, whatever it would have been for Ramsey, on a corner. And right now you're going to start, a really weird batch of guys that's not very good unless you want to go, should just go sign us on Samuel Jr., but that's a different conversation for a different time. Once you get to June, the cap hit impact on Ramsey does change. So that this point, 3 weeks away from that, you're kind of in that market of maybe all the parties involved could wait. So who trades for Ramsey? Let me know in the comments. Derek, who is a Raiders fan, says the Raiders. I actually love that idea. I think it's super fun. I don't know if they're truly in the position to go be that type of competitive team, but it's fun. I think it gives them a really impactful outside corner and helps kind of kickstart that little rebuild. And you got Gina, who's not young. I actually don't mind that idea at all. It's a little bit more aggressive than what I think the Raiders would likely end up doing, but need-wise, fit-wise, I think it's all actually super good. So, who trades for Ramsey? Let me know in the comments of today's show. Lions is a fun one. I mean, there's the connection there, front office-wise, so I don't mind that one at all. Get your predictions in for me. I think the Rams are, as we'll get into, a very real threat. We'll do a 2026 NFL mock draft on today's show because I am a sick person. Will Arch Manning turn pro? We will address this in the video. I think there is kind of a disconnect between Texas and diehard college football fans and not big college people, which is fine. I think the plan is for Arch to not turn pro. He's got 3 more years of eligibility. Now, if Texas wins an Natty and Arch wins the Heisman Trophy, and he's the clear-cut number 1 pick, probably goes pro, depending on what team is there. Look, it wouldn't be the first time a Manning played hardball. It's the last time it happened, really. So I don't think it is a guarantee Arch Manning goes pro. In fact, right now, with him not having played a lot of college football, I think there's more likely he actually does not turn pro and goes back to school for at least 1 more year. Now, if he plays out of his mind, plays the way we all think he can play, I think he's gone. But I think there's not a guarantee of that. So, will he turn pro? Y for yes, N for no. Gaming Wizard says no. Our goal on every live show is a 50% like ratio. So if you haven't already, help us out. Like today's show. Free, simple, easy. We appreciate every single one of you who does it. Here's what's coming up on the live edition of NFL Daily. A bunch of NFL news and rumors. We'll talk Rodgers and Ramsey, some Brock Purdy stuff as well with where that contract sits. A mailbag. 2 ways to get in on the show. You can use hashtag NFL. Already saw some of those come in. Let's get more. Make it easy for Stone to find your questions too. Use that hashtag NFL. Or guarantee you get on the show via a super chat. Those are your 2 options there. Only got a couple hashtag NFL, so let's get some more. Any comments, questions, thoughts as it relates to the NFL? Now's your time to do it. Get that hashtag NFL in there. We'll have a mailbag as well, again, with the hashtag. Have a 2026 NFL mock draft. Jags and Falcons fans, I got you covered. I did do second-round picks for those teams. That way we get... this year we were lucky. It was just 32 picks every time. Everyone had a first rounder. 2 teams already don't have one. So all that's coming up live here on NFL Daily. We are 243 subs away from 409,000 subs on Chat Sports. Help us get there. Not just going to be NFL stuff, by the way. More and more NBA coverage with with that playoffs going on right now, and of course, draft lottery coming up on Monday. Whole lot of coverage for you. Not just NFL, NBA, everything else in between. Hit that sub button right now for more free sports and NFL YouTube videos. Why we're called Chat Sports, after all. Let's talk Jalen Ramsey. The Dolphins are reportedly still trying to find a Jalen Ramsey trade, according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, but there are issues here. Here's what Fowler reported on ESPN, SportsCenter. Says Miami's been calling around on Ramsey trying to work on a potential trade. They were doing so in the days leading up to the draft. So something could shake out here this offseason. I'm told Ramsey does want to play for a contender. So he wouldn't just go to any team considering his age, his pedigree as a Super Bowl winner. The sticking point here is that there's $24 million in guarantees. My sense after asking around is Miami has not been overly eager to cover some of that bill, which sort of makes a trade hard to pull off right now. Not many teams have cap space, right? LA Rams, it could be a reunion here. They've been in the mix. They're a team to watch, certainly, for Jalen Ramsey. I do think the Rams make a lot of sense for Ramsey. They've got the need at corner. They are a contender. They know the player. It would be objectively fun to see the Rams trade him to Miami for like a 2-year rental and then bring it back. It's like some European soccer-style loan going on out there. I think it actually does make a lot of sense. The money's a problem. That's how it always is. Here's how things break down. His 2025 cap hit for the Dolphins is $16.7 million. If they trade him away right now, the Dolphins actually lose, as unusual as this is, a significant amount of money. They lose $12.55 million. That's a lot of money to lose. Now, if they trade him after June 1st, they actually save $5 million. Now, it adds bigger dead cap hit in 2026. It's still a $29 total million in dead cap, but it saves them money. The new team cash would owe $21 million. There's additional guarantees next year that kind of comes into that $24 million price tag. It's not cheap to trade for Jalen Ramsey because the Dolphins just paid him a big fat new contract, one of the highest paid corners in the NFL. He's got 4 years left on that deal, by the way. That's a lot of money. He's still a damn good football player. Now, he's 31 years old. You question how much longer he has as a top-end corner, but he's still awesome at the whole football thing. So predictions. What team do you think, if any, I think none is a valid option here, what team ends up trading for Jalen Ramsey? Get those predictions in at the pinned comments of today's show. If that ad comes here on YouTube, it's fine. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Let's go to Aaron Rodgers, and somehow, some way, we're still here. We're waiting on Aaron Rodgers to decide where he wants to play football. It seems like right now it is Pittsburgh or bust. There are no other options available. It doesn't seem like it's going to be Minnesota unless it's a surprise injury. It's going to Pittsburgh or retiring, and that's not the whole thing. As I'll kind of derail this conversation, it's weird, right? This isn't how it's supposed to be. Rodgers is still a starting caliber QB. Is he the MVP caliber guy he was at his peak in Green Bay? Of course not. But it's always the other stuff that you have to deal with Rodgers that complicates things. And this year's stuff, it is May, and he has not officially signed a deal with Pittsburgh. It is, and it's put the Steelers in a pretty bad spot too, where they kind of have to start making decisions here. We'll break that down in depth, but I want predictions. Will the Steelers end up actually signing Aaron Rodgers? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Do you think when it's all said and done, the Pittsburgh Steelers do get Aaron Rodgers? Y or N? Go vote in the comment section of today's show. Objectively speaking, the Steelers quarterback room right now is terrible. It's not good. It is Mason Rudolph, who couldn't beat out Will Levis for a starting job in Tennessee. They kept going back to Levis because Rudolph wasn't any better. Will Howard, a late day 3 pick, who I like as a backup, and Skylar Thompson, who is the ultimate camp arm, slash preseason arm. This is not an actual starting quarterback room. This is not a good quarterback room. You add Rodgers to it, okay. You add maybe a Kirk Cousins as your backup plan, okay. You have to make decisions here soon. Voluntary workouts already underway for the Pittsburgh Steelers. OTAs start for Pittsburgh on May 27th. You want your starting quarterback there. He needs to be there, especially if he's learning a new offense. You have to have that stuff getting installed here. Otherwise, you're going to be playing catch-up the entire time. Mandatory minicamp is on June 10th for Pittsburgh. Training camp is in July. I don't know if there's an actual firm and fast cutoff date for Pittsburgh. We are 3 weeks away from it. You have to make a decision here. And if it's not Rodgers, go trade for Kirk Cousins. Because starting Mason Rudolph is not a viable plan in the year 2025. Come on. Today's show is made possible by PrizePicks. It is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Cash in on the basketball playoffs going on right now with PrizePicks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your PrizePicks lineup, whether it's points, boards, assists, takeaways. Pick more or less. You can also do season-long football PrizePicks slates. I had less than on all these. Jared Goff, Lions offense, probably won't be as good. Less than there. Travis Kelce will not be as heavily utilized in the Chiefs offense with Rashee Rice healthy. I think it's less than there. Jaden Daniels probably won't be asked to run as much either. Then do the flex play. That way, if you get one wrong, you still come out on top. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's PrizePicks. Run your game. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Let's go to Brock Purdy. And there are some conflicting kind of reports around what the actual Brock Purdy contract is going to end up looking like. Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, expects $55.1 million per year. We'll explain why in a second. Mike Jones of The Athletic says around $50 million per year. There are comparisons here. Now, I would say in general, because of the uniqueness of the leverage points between Dak and Josh Allen, I think we got to toss those deals out. Dak Prescott was weeks away from being a free agent. He could not be tagged, all the leverage in the world. Josh Allen was 4 years away, really more like 6, from being a free agent. So those deals, the amount that Allen got is very unique from the guaranteed money perspective. The per year Dak got is kind of unique because of just the complete opposite ends of the spectrum of those contracts. I think for Purdy, let's just toss those out as comparisons. So then you've got the guaranteed money for Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, and that $55 million per year price tag. If I'm Brock Purdy, why aren't I asking for, you should give me Trevor Lawrence money? Maybe it doesn't end up getting, adjusted for the salary cap, but he gets a little bit more on the per year side. There's nothing we can really point to and say, yeah, but Trevor Lawrence has done this that Brock Purdy hasn't. And the way stuff we value for contract talks, there's nothing to it. It's draft pedigree. That's all it is. So if I were Purdy's agent, I'm asking for Trevor Lawrence money. Does he get it? I don't know. He's coming off not as good of a season. He was also really good in 2023. He's had a lot of playoff success. He's been a lot better than what I thought he was going to be. Is he truly worth $55 million per year? Is it the Shanahan offense boost? To me, once you're in the $50 million per year price range, that's telling me that you think he's your franchise guy. I would not risk losing or upsetting my franchise QB for $5 million per year. Like, I've seen Diami Brown get $10 million. He's got 350 yards last year and a career high. I'm not going to let $5 million ruin me. I can just back with the hell of it and be fine. So with that in mind, what is the most you'd pay Brock Purdy per season? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Let's talk one of the top free agent stuff out there. Brian Baldinger, who does some really good stuff over on NFL Network, says Justin Simmons wants to be a member of the Philadelphia Eagles alongside Vic Fangio, who he once played for back in Denver. There were plenty of buzz last year around Simmons in Philadelphia. Ends up in Atlanta. Still is one of the most prolific interceptors of the football in the NFL, even if his play has declined a little bit as of late. I am interested in his fit in Philadelphia. The Eagles spent a second-round pick on Andrew Makuba, who I like a lot. Offers maybe some nickel stuff if you had to, but probably just plays safety. I like Reed Blankenship. You're hoping Sidney Brown, a former top 100 pick, stays healthy. And then it's, is Lewis Seen ever going to be a piece? Do you trust some older UDFAs and Tristan McCullum and Andre Sam? Does Maxon Hook carve out a role? I get Simmons' interest. I actually don't know how much interest Philadelphia has at this time, especially coming off the title and getting some guys healthy. But this is definitely a potential fit. I'm just curious how much the Eagles have a desire to add him at this time. It is a mailbag time here on NFL Daily. There are two ways to get in on the show. You can use hashtag NFL or skip the line altogether via Super Chat. A couple of good hashtag NFL questions have come in there from Dakota and DC Viper. And remember, you got to use hashtag NFL all in the same comments. Otherwise, it's just not going to pull for Producer Stone. So make his life a little bit easier. Use that hashtag NFL or Super Chat and guarantee you get on the show here. I'm going to sip some of my water real quick, and then we'll dive into some questions. Again, two options. Questions, comments, thoughts, whatever, with the hashtag NFL in the live chat or Super Chat, and you can skip the line and guarantee that you get on. Before we dive into today's NFL mailbag, if you have questions we did not get to, or you're watching on demand, you can't watch live or whatever, you can always hit me up on Twitter. Give me a follow. Slide into those DMs, please. I'm tired of having bots advertising illegal things and part-time hotel jobs. It's random stuff in there. I can't stand it. So give me football questions instead at What Going Down. Link will be in the comments and the description of today's show. Tony Fuentes, Tom, could the Chiefs still make a great move in the month of May? Who's available in free agency? Well, we did do a top NFL free agents still left unsigned video. My boy Trace did that a couple days ago. Specifically for Kansas City, I think the names that could make some sense. Maybe like a Kaiser White. I wouldn't hate that one. Low-key, decent option. How does J.K. Dobbins sound? Do one of the corners if you think you need one more. Maybe you don't signing Christian Fulton. Like a Rasul Douglas could make some sense. If you're worried about Rashee Rice's injury stuff, like maybe a Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper are fits there. Do you want to go mercenary edge rusher? Von Miller's out there. It is May. The options are not great, but there are some of those players who are still available at this time. So again, check that on the channel, but there are some pieces out there. Jeremy, is the George Pickens trade dead? It's on life support. I don't really think that it's completely impossible to like not have anymore, but I think it's probably could. the benefits you would get of having a George Pickens trade, the biggest which is you get a draft pick to be able to come in and replace Pickens. You don't get that now. So now, if you trade away Pickens, you're kind of like right back where you were with Pittsburgh. Like, yeah, you swap out Pickens for DK Metcalf. That's probably an upgrade. But then it's like, hey, our receiver 2 is Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, the aging, not maybe good anymore, Robert Woods. Like, it gets real thin real quick. So I don't think it's impossible, but I do think it gets unlikely at this time. So predictions, folks. Will the Steelers end up trading away George Pickens? Y for yes, N for no. It's the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. DC times Viper. Which second-year QB has a breakout year? Could J.J. McCarthy be a surprise player? I think you can make an argument outside of Jaden Daniels, who kind of like already broke out, and like maybe Bo Nix was good enough and close enough to his perceived so it doesn't end up happening. I think any of those second-year QBs can make an argument. The Falcons hoping for one from Michael Penix. They better throw away that future first-round pick. I think McCarthy has the biggest room to grow. He didn't play last year. I think he's got plenty of talent. Kevin O'Connell is a QB whisperer. I would actually not be surprised if McCarthy broke out and put up Darnold-esque numbers this upcoming season, at least close to it. I think Drake May is in line for a big season. I think Caleb Williams is in line for a big season. Now, that's all projection and hope and optimism, but there's a lot of all those quarterbacks in that class, first-round picks QB, all should feel like kind of good about it. Dakota Whitehouse, what's the floor and ceiling in your eyes for the Denver Broncos? So I'll treat this as if they mostly stay healthy, not like, chaos of Drake or Bo Nix got hurt. We played Jarrett Stidham, and then Jarrett Stidham got hurt, and the bottom fell. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I think the non-chaotic injury floor ceiling, I think the floor is, maybe just have a bit of a regression year. Bo Nix sophomore slump, and they just missed the playoffs. They win 6 games, somewhere in that ballpark. Have some bad luck go their way. Like, I think that's a realistic floor with Sean Payton and what they've built so far. The ceiling is Bo Nix takes another step forward, and then you're cooking with some gas, and maybe you don't win the AFC game, but you can make it there. I mean, we've seen that second, third-year jump from young QBs. I wonder if they're just missing a few more explosive pieces on offense to tie it all together. But I think, playoff wins are a very real ceiling for Denver. Now, you can get the rookie jersey for your favorite new player over at chatsports.com/NFL jersey. All the teams, all the players. Marvin Harrison finally up there too now, by the way. It's sorted by most popular, so you actually see a lot of Shadur ones, which he's wearing 12 now. Links in the comments and the description, a clickable little banner over there in the far corner as well. Chatsports.com/NFL jersey. I'll call it the J theory. I don't know how to pronounce the middle part there. Do the Cowboys get better once Jerry is gone? I think his son will be just as bad. If Steven wants to have the same level of influence and control, I don't know why it's going to get any better. Because the dirty little secret about the Cowboys is there has already been a lot of influence from Stephen Jones. He has already been extremely involved, extremely, I'll call it meddling, with the way the Cowboys are run. So it'll be different if he gives true control to Will McClay, the de facto GM, like the front office guy, the player personnel guy. Awesome. There is the potential of it being better, but also very likely it's just as bad. Scott, is Von Miller going to sign anywhere? Yes, at some point. I think at this point in his career, you see this a lot over the years. Like these older edges, Von Miller's 36 years old. They don't necessarily want to go do all the voluntary off-season workout stuff. Like he had, I think it was 6 sacks last year. He is still a good mercenary pass rusher. Somebody will pick him up. He might even wait until training camp in the event of an injury. He might explore, this guy got hurt, I'll be fine, I'll go do this. And he'll sign in late June or early July, late June or late July, somewhere in that ballpark, and go, I'm going to get my mercenary contract and ball out. Like that that would not be a surprise. I think he's signed somewhere. I just don't know where. So predictions. Who will end up signing Von Miller? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Bull Weevil, how ridiculous is it to ask for a retired uniform number? I think it's a little bit overblown in general, but like, I think if anything, this is where the team has to step up, right? Like, this is you retired the number. I think this feels very Giants coded. Like, why do I have to ask Lawrence Taylor to sign off on this? Why is Phil Simms? The team retired it. Don't put your franchise icon in that position. It's a retired number. There are a finite amount of numbers. I do want to acknowledge that. That's why I don't get bent out of shape when like non-retired numbers get given away. I can't do it forever. But if it's retired, it needs to stay retired. Otherwise, that defeats the whole purpose otherwise. Now, if you want to be a part of our NFL mailbags into the future, let me know by subscribing. Hit that sub button for free NFL YouTube videos right here on Chat Sports. Christian, what is the Steelers' ceiling with Rodgers and after the draft? Well, I want to say the floor is 10 wins, right? It's the Steelers. At some point, that will end up happening. They won't finish above 500, but still, I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender. I think they're a playoff contender, if not even a playoff front runner. But I don't think that unless he turns the clock back, I don't think he's gonna, carry them to the promised land at his age. I think it is more likely, they win 10, 11 games, maybe a playoff game this time, and then get trounced by one of the better teams in the AFC, whether that's the Bills, the Chiefs, or they meet an AFC North team and end up losing that one in a 3-point game, like how all AFC North games seem to go. From Benjamin, can Amari or Keenan Allen fill the number 2 receiver spot in Dallas? I'll expand on Dallas here. If looking for a wide receiver 2, bad news, guys. It's May. You're kind of in a bad spot. You probably missed your window. For stopgap, limited, serviceable, just survive for the time being, I think that this can work. I think that you can get by with Keenan Allen and Mark Cooper. You have CeeDee Lamb. The presence of Lamb alone, really helps your receiving core. Now, I'll say this. The Cowboys are one injury away. They're not right now. They've got Lamb. They're one injury away from, is this the worst receiving room in the NFL? And it's not even all that close. I think that's how bad it would be without CeeDee Lamb. But you have CeeDee Lamb. Allen and Amari Allen or Amari give you a better number 2 option at least. At least some more proven experience, some more competition, etc. Who's better? KA for Keenan Allen, AC for Amari Cooper. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Christian, do you think Howard is the future for the Steelers? I keep hearing he's another Big Ben 2.0. I mean, no, he's not. He's not Ben Roethlisberger. I don't think we should ever assign 6th-round draft picks as, well, he could be Big Ben 2.0. He's not as big as Big Ben was. He's got solid size. He is not the same prolific prospect that Big Ben was. I mean, that was a MAC prospect, Mid-American Conference quarterback, going in the top half of the NFL draft. That does not happen. They are not similar players. I think Will Howard can have a nice long career as a backup QB. I don't think he's going to be a prolific starter. I don't think that's the same level of sheer talent that Howard has versus what Big Ben has. NBA playoffs are underway. So how many NBA playoff games have you watched so far? Stone, I know you're not maybe the biggest NBA fan, but how many games have you watched there?
Yeah, definitely double digits for me, for sure. I was pretty hooked on the Warriors-Rockets series.
I slandered you for no reason.
Yeah, no, I do like some NBA. I mean, this is the best time to watch the NBA during the playoffs. It's a totally different sport. They're allowed to be a little more physical, and yeah, I enjoy watching it.
Marshall, our Knicks now host, has been electric again. I want the Knicks to keep going because I want more Marshall clips. That's all I care about. So, how many NBA playoff games have you watched? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Knicks have been fun. Warriors-Rockets was a fun series. I remember turning on, I put Olivia to bed one night, and I'm like, okay, let's check out this elimination game in the Heat Cavs matchup, and I turned it on. It was like that 50-point lead or whatever they had. I'm like, well, I'm done watching this one. I don't need to watch anything else. I'm out. That's all I need. That was something there. So, under the comments of today's show, we'll get going to the final segment of today's NFL Daily. It is time, because it is sicko season, and we are indeed sick people. A 2026 NFL mock draft, the way too early edition. Before you get mad at me, this is based on the reverse Super Bowl odds, various tiebreakers broken by win totals and whatnot. So don't get mad at me. Get mad at Vegas for hating on your team. We will also, at the end, 2 second-round picks for the Jags and Falcons, because you guys deserve draft love too, even with no first-round pick for either team. I also did not include Arch Manning in this mock draft. And there is a good possibility he ends up turning pro. He also might not. And if you believe what the Mannings have said, the plan is to go back to school. He's only started a few games in his career. He has not played much. When he's played, it's been pretty solid. Hasn't been against, outside of the half against Georgia, that was just kind of a weird situation. There's a lot to like about Arch Manning's film. And I think if he wins the Heisman, Texas wins the national championship, and a team he's down to go to gets that number 1 overall pick, then I think he can turn pro. But for this mock draft, we won't put him in there. But it would not be a surprise to me either way. So predictions, with the whole season to go, and a lot of projection left for all of these players. It is a full year of college football. There's a lot of things that can and will change. Will Arch Manning turn pro? Y for yes, N for no. Several QBs we'll discuss. I think they've all got decent shots of being number 1, at least most of them do. I'm going to put Drew Aller on here. And not because I am in love with him as a prospect. I think he's some superstar player. I get why the NFL is, I think, pretty high on him. I think had Drew Aller gone pro, we would have spent a lot of time talking about, like, hey, is Drew Aller going to be the number 2 pick to the Cleveland Browns, or are the Giants going to take him? Like, I don't know if he would have gotten outside the top 3. Because the stuff he does, the stuff flashes he has shown, the NFL likes that kind of stuff. I need to see more growth as a consistent passer, especially in those biggest moments. But the arm and the size and the traits are certainly all there. Number 2, Garrett Nussmeier, out of LSU. This is kind of funny for me, because this is what I told our Saints Now host Trace was going to happen the day they hired Kellen Moore. It was going to be, okay, you're going to hire Doug Nussmeier as the OC. You're going to tank for a year and draft his kid, Garrett Nussmeier, which has happened so far. LSU boy gets to stay in New Orleans. By the way, of note, if the Browns are picking 1, the Saints are picking 2, you need to take QBs, because that means your current QBs were bad, including Shadur and Tyler Shock. All right, Tennessee at 3. Let's go TJ Parker. You'll see a lot of Clemson players on this list. That team should be really good this year. Parker as an edge rusher, I am very intrigued by. And I think long-term, adding a piece there of Tennessee makes plenty of sense. They just took a QB at number 1, so they're not going to take 1 at 3. Jets at 4. Lenore Sellers might have the best ceiling of the non-Arch Manning QBs this year. There's even like a bit more polished Anthony Richardson to his game. I still need to see a lot more consistency. That's for all the QBs this year. There's scenarios which they're like, yeah, this guy's bad. He ends up taking a step backwards. He does not go in round 1. Sellers has size, mobility, arm strength. Just be a bit more consistent. And number 1 pick is in play for him. So, way too early version, entire year to go of football, maybe 2 years for some of these guys. Who is your early QB1 for the 2026 NFL Draft? You can say Arch. It's the pinned comment, so if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Let's go to the Giants at number 5. Spencer Fano played right tackle for Utah, so I like that fit for the Giants more than like a Caden Proctor, who we will get to. Protect your hopeful franchise guy, Jackson Dart, but if you're picking 5, that means Brian Dable might have gotten fired. There's the downside there. Peter Woods, defensive tackle from Clemson. I almost put him at 3 to Tennessee. I think you could flip these guys if you wanted to. Played some edge for Clemson last year. I think gets to play his natural spot at defensive tackle this upcoming season. He's an awesome player. Caleb Downs from Ohio State, actually my favorite guy right now. It's just how early can a safety go? Like that positional value does kind of get impacted when you got, I got trench players and quarterbacks in the first 6 picks. But I think if anyone knows good safety play, it's Pete Carroll, right? Right? The Browns is picked from Jacksonville, by the way. You take the QB earlier, now solidify your left side of the offensive line, Caden Proctor. still a bit inconsistent, but the size, the movement skills, I think the battling through injury and still playing well stuff, he could easily be a top 5 pick. If Indy's picking 5, it probably means the Anthony Richardson experience is over. I think Cade Klubnik is a little bit underrated. I think he's gonna. I was very impressed by his play down the stretch. Seemed like it all kind of began to click into place there. I don't know what the front office looks like, the head coach looks like in Indy if they're picking number 9 overall, but I do think Klubnik has a chance to be QB1 in this class. Seattle takes Ramad McCoy out of Tennessee. Reek Woolen is a free agent, may or may not be back. Kind of want another cornerback there anyway in Seattle, or in addition to, I should say, in Seattle. And I think early vibe is probably the favorite for CB1, but that is by no means set in stone. Today's show is made possible by PrizePicks. Cash in on the basketball playoffs with PrizePicks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your PrizePicks lineup. Whether it's points, boards, assists, take your pick of more or less for your shot to win 2,000 times your cash today. Turn those playoff hot takes and tickets to basketball's championship series. Starting with the play-in round, every lineup you make on PrizePicks will enter you in the Takes 2 tickets sweepstakes, which gets you and a +1 into the VIP trip to the ship. They've also got season-long football PrizePicks slates. Cowboys don't have a wide receiver 2. More on that in a second for this mock draft, by the way. Breece Hall might not be as involved in the running game with the rotation and Justin Fields getting carries there. And Dak Prescott, if he's healthy, will get to at least 24 TDs. I like the flex play. That way, if I get one wrong, I still come out on top. You can get a pick wrong and still double up to your money with PrizePicks. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play that first $5 lineup. I am a big fan of Anthony Hill Jr.'s game out of Texas. This is a 3-phase player, run support, pass coverage, pass rush ability. He's not Micah Parsons, but I think, some of the elite level play of just being able to cover and run support and blitz some is really impressive. I love his fit for a Mike Vrabel-led defense. Avion Terrell, that is, by the way, A.J. Terrell's younger brother. Not as big, so it is in many ways the little brother here. Miami, we'll see about Jalen Ramsey long-term. Even with him, they need cornerback help, so this one is kind of an easy fit for me. The Rams at 13. Thought about QB. I'll hold off on it, even though we will do the whole Matthew Stafford thing again next offseason. This pick from the Falcons, how about Isaiah World? This is the Nevada transfer who's got some big fans, I think, around college football. Big projection here, but I think he has the traits NFL teams love. He plays well at Oregon, he'll get round 1 buzz. Carnell Tate out of Ohio State. He was the number 3 wide receiver last year for the Ohio State Buckeyes, behind Emeka Egbuka, the first-round pick. Jeremiah Smith, the future first-round pick. Despite being the number 3, he put up 733 yards. He is a former 5-star. In general, this wide receiver class, it needs some breakouts. Otherwise, it's a little bit shaky. Francis Mauigoa out of Miami, whose brother was drafted by the Jets as a linebacker. This is the little brother, but bigger in this case. I think we'll see about Jonah Williams long term. I think he can play right tackle. Some slight buzz about guard is a possibility there. Offensive line help if you're going defense heavy for Arizona makes sense to me. Pittsburgh 16, better go find your QB. How about Fernando Mendoza? That is the Cal quarterback who played pretty well this year when Cal was having some fun early in the season. Transferred to Indiana. Not a household name necessarily. Some of the, I call them fellow nerds who like the study the QB film going in. I've heard a lot of good buzz about Mendoza. So I'll put a little flyer on him here at 16 overall. How many QBs go in round 1 of the 2026 NFL draft? I got a bunch in this one. Give me your predictions in the comments of today's show. Jeremiah Love at Notre Dame. Ben Johnson's going, this is my Jahmyr Gibbs. Explosive running back, not the biggest running back. Got to stay healthy this upcoming season, but I love his game. He, to me, is the clear RB1 in this class, early version. Dylan Thieneman, who transferred from Purdue to Oregon, I think is going to get a lot of buzz this season. In general, I think the safety class has some really good talent, not just Caleb Downs. The edges just kind of fell in this mock draft. I didn't intend for that, but I pushed a bunch of QBs up, so that's how it goes. Keldrick Falk really big frame, good size, is a different type of passers than what Denver has. Denver's kind of a lot of speed players. This would be a good fit for them. A lot of people mocked, including me, Jahad Campbell to Tampa. Well, he went to Philadelphia. How about C.J. Allen, the Georgia linebacker? Should be primed for a big season to showcase some good run stopping as well. Chargers go get a corner. Malik Muhammad out of Texas, now in line to be CB1 with Jahdae Barron gone. Fills a need there. I've heard some good buzz from the NFL on LT Overton, the former A&M transfer to Alabama. Showcased some good stuff down the stretch. Has to finish better, but I think the Texans could use a top-end interior defensive line presence. Austin Barber out of Florida. Say what you want about Florida's coaching staff. I do think they do a good job of offensive line. That's kind of been a trait of Billy Napier going back to his time at Louisiana. I think it's a pretty good schematic fit. And the Niners need help on the offensive line at some point, right? We will have more NFL draft YouTube videos for you year-round. It's sicko season, draft season never stops. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. YouTube.com/chatsportstv. We'll see about Jair Alexander long-term. Jalen Kilgore, I almost went with some other SEC corners. There's some good ones kind of in this range. We'll mention DJ McKinney later too, but Damani Jack's kind of have a big time here. But I think Kilgore brings the athletic traits the Packers tend to covet. Big boy in the middle for the Bengals at 25. Caleb Banks has the size that NFL teams like, and Bengals got to keep throwing assets to that defensive line. Ruben Bain, if we come back in 300 days, he might look really low on this. He was great in 2024, but was banged up a lot. Or in 2023, was banged up a lot in 2024. I think will be healthy this year, and I think could be a real riser. Rams get a corner, A.J. Harris. I think it's a need for them, and those Penn State guys almost always test great athletically, don't they? I'll shoot my shot at tight end here. Travis Kelce is actually out of a contract after this year. This might be it. And they've spent some, late day 2, early day 3 picks. I think Max Clare going from Purdue to Ohio State, as long as the quarterback play isn't terrible, is going to put up big-time numbers, big-time production. I think he's got a chance to be tight end 1 in this class. Danny Dennis Sutton out of Penn State goes 29 here. I think this is a speedy edge. It's not Abdul Carter, it's not Micah Parsons, but he still almost put up double-digit sacks. He should be primed for a big year. I'll throw another receiver to Buffalo, because why not? Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State, maybe as a long-term better piece than Joshua Palmer. We would spend more time on Tyson if he wasn't hurt for the CFP. I think he would have made a pretty big name for himself there. Out of Oregon, Mateo Uyunglele. Yes, that is DJU's younger brother. Again, the edges just kind of fell. I think they'll probably end up going earlier than this. Unlike his brother, this will be an early round NFL draft pick. And then I couldn't resist putting a Georgia defensive tackle to Philadelphia at 32. All right. Would that surprise anybody? I think Christian Miller, with a lot of personnel losses up front for Georgia, is primed for a massive breakout season. Jags and Falcons fans, I got you covered 40 and 45. Throw in Deontay Lawson out of Alabama. Maybe that's not, I'm not sure what this new regime wants yet in terms of their overall archetype, but veteran, heady football player, got to stay healthy. Mansour Delane is the Virginia Tech transfer, now at LSU. Don't sleep on that name either. A lot of names I did not get to. I'm going to mention 11 more actually here. Who did I leave off of my 2026 NFL mock draft? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Some other names. I think Nick Singleton is the next best back out of Penn State. Katron Allen also is a good name too. Both Andersons at LSU, Nick and Aaron. LSU low-key has 3, maybe 4 guys that could have massive breakout years and become round 1 picks at wide receiver. Wouldn't surprise me. Evan Stewart is talented, but has to actually put it together. Big chance for him this year. Denzel Boston is a good player at Washington. Jake Slaughter would have been one of the top centers had he gone pro last year. David Bailey transferred from Stanford to Texas Tech. Don't sleep on him. Sontaran Perkins is kind of undersized, but really productive at Ole Miss. Harold Perkins Jr. had that great freshman year, and then just they still kind of stuck of being a tweener. Is he an off-ball linebacker? Is he an edge? He's kind of stuck in between, now coming off injury. Seen some love for DJ McKinney. Life going to be different for him this year with no Travis Hunter. Jalen Ramsey, part of a good safety class. Could have been a top 50 pick, top 75 pick had he turned pro. So will the Steelers sign Aaron Rodgers? The pin poll on today's show, we are down to 51% say yes. A lot of uncertainty there. We will keep you covered on that. Make sure you vote, Y for yes and for no, and subscribe. More NFL YouTube videos all off season long. Do not miss out. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv.